so you know. Again.
Okay, so you're the creator. How did you birth this?
It's based on my own perverse fascination with anything that's 80s but also futuristic. So many of my favorite movies are sort of 80s depictions of the future, like Blade Runner and Terminator and Back to the Future 2, and it occurred to me there's so much cool design and music and culture that's very retro and 80s but very now as well. It's like Daft Punk and Phoenix and all of these great bands, and it just occurred to me there's never been this neat neon 80s aesthetic has never been used for very stupid comedy. I thought that'd be a really fun worlds to marry. I also remember going to see the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling, which is a very 80s meets hip cutting edge kind of movie, and so much of that movie is him driving around with kind of this intense hurt stare, and I just thought, well, if you could give that vibe to a character who was in actuality kind of a dumbass and kind of an awful self-centered guy, but he's still he drives and he's intense and he means what he does, and so that Drive was an inspiration, and there's a whole just a neat aesthetic to get to play with.
Why go animation and not go live? What draws you to animation?
There's so much freedom in animation. I kind of come from writing and directing live action sketch comedy. I worked at Funny or Die and Conan, and I had so much fun working at those places. But you are always handcuffed by budgetary limitations and by we can't do that big cartoony thing because it's too expensive. And in a cartoon, you're supposed to do big cartoony things. And it just always occurred to me that'd be a really fun area to work in. And I'd messed around with cartoons just on my own. I thought, God, if I could get an animated show off the ground, how much fun that would be. And also, the talent that's at your disposal doing an animated show. I mean, this cast is so stellar. Rob Lowe, Will Forte, who were here today, just literally my two favorite comedic actors, and Elizabeth Banks and Kate Mara are so fantastic. And we can get all these great people, and it only takes an hour of their time. And, they can come in, do a just full range of emotions, run and do action and have sex and all of these things. And it doesn't take that much time. It's easy on them. They can go do their movies, they can go do their TV shows, then come back, check on us. How's that cartoon going? It's going great. That's what's been so great about today at Comic-Con, getting to watch this episode with Will Forte and Rob Lowe. And it was so much fun to show them. Yeah, the show's going great. It's beautiful. You guys are really funny. Yeah, it's been a blast.
How is it working with Comedy Central? How do you think you fit into their?
Comedy Central is so great to work with. It is absolutely no exaggeration or lie to say they are just fantastic and the best creative partners you could have for trying to put together sort of a weird specific show. They're all for any idea we have. They're very good at asserting themselves when there's something they're concerned about, but also just kind of staying back and letting creative people be creative, which is really it's really fantastic, and it's really cool. It's really cool that they trust us so much, and they trust me even though I've never made a show before. But I think they could tell I want to make something that's fun and watchable and for everybody. I'm not just taking their money and throwing it in a garbage dump. I take it very seriously to be making a show for this channel right now, especially because it's such a good channel. Every show out of the gate has an audience and fans who are rabid about it, and they're all quality too. It's just a crazy good lineup on Comedy Central right now, and I'm proud to be joining it.
So how does, to piggyback off of that, so how does it feel to kind of join into that lineup that's already kind of there? And how does that play? Do you feel any pressure trying to get in there with that? Or especially with the animated film, when they have some animated there,
Sure. I think I don't feel pressure so much joining that lineup as I do feel inspired by it and how high their bar is right now, and it makes me want to bring my A game and want to bring something really specific and unique to the table, because that's what all these other great voices on the channel have done, and I want to do it too.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, hi, welcome.
Hi. What's happening here? What show are we talking about?
Currently Moonbeam City, but that could change.
We can change anymore.
Yeah. Any show you want to talk about?
No. Moonbeam City.
Great. This is Rob Lowe, the star of the show.
Hi, Rob. Is this your first time doing like an animation?
Pretty much. I mean, yeah. And it's been such a great learning experience, and so much. I knew it would be fun, but it's been so much more fun than I thought it would be. And the scripts are. I mean, I wish I could get a real television series like that had these funniest scripts. But the other thing we were talking about this at the other table. The thing that I love about it is, as a storyteller, when you're writing animation, the sky is literally the limit. I mean, in filmed live action, you're beholden to the laws of physics and the laws of clocks and the laws of human nature and what have you. And you really have the opportunity to go anywhere, and you do, and that's what I love about it.
The only problem is animators strain wrists, and that's literally a problem. You see some wrist braces around there, but around our studio. But hey, it's everybody wants to bring their A game on this show. The studio Titmouse that animates it are just phenomenal. I am so blown away by how beautiful this show is, how striking it is, how colorful it is. It's really distinct, really fun to watch.
It's very, very distinct, and feels like a worthy successor to the shows that I love so much, which skew from the iconic, classic, Mount Rushmore shows, which we all love, Simpsons, Family Guy and Archer, but also for me the really weird, off the beaten path stuff, like BoJack Horseman and like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, just stuff that is, doesn't have all the fine edges rubbed off of it, and that's what I like, that this is both, whereas those examples are either ors.
Thank you.
How did you assemble the cast you end up with now?
Well, it started at Dazzle, and as I said in the panel, I just really wanted somebody. It was like, do we go with more of the comedian who can who can be silly with it? Do we go with a great dramatic actor to play it straight, and that's kind of the tone of it, and do we go with, since it's this '80s show, do we go with more of an '80s icon kind of person? And that's Rob. Rob is all three of those things, and it's just the perfect person to do this. I was still so knocked out that he said yes. And I think what's so fun in these records is that you pick your spots. It's like, you need to commit to this dumb monologue and just sell the hell out of it. But then other times, you kind of need the punch of being very stupid. And you've got just such a great meter for where those points are.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and then with Rob on board, everybody else said yes. Everybody else wants to be in a Rob Lowe cartoon. And, I'm such a tremendous fan of everybody in this cast. Elizabeth Banks just blows me away, and everything she's in. So good on 30 Rock, especially. Made me want to work with her on this. And Kate Mara on House of Cards. We sort of needed more of in Chrysalis, kind of a straight woman character to ground it, and let's just get a really good dramatic actress and have her play off of Dazzle's idiocy. And then Will Forte, I've just been a gigantic fan of since his first season of Saturday Night Live, and getting to write for him is
He's a
great.
force of nature.
He's unbelievable. Yeah. He just can go to insanity so thoroughly well. But a really great actor too. He really and that's one thing to say is that Rad Cunningham, the character that Will Forte plays, you really see kind of a transformation in him. Where the first time you meet Rad, he's kind of a one-note sort of kind of a dickish Karate Kid kind of villain, and as the show goes on, you come to find out that he's a very damaged, insecure person. He's just a shallow facade of a man who's been tortured by his parents and like has this crazy upbringing of where he was kidnapped by a deranged Canadian children's show host, and it's just. The saga of Rad Cunningham, I can't wait to unleash on the world.
Yeah, it's
it's
really
very
good.
sad, and Dazzle's very happy to kick him.
When he's down.
Yeah, the further down he gets, and he gets really down.
Can we ask what the differences between working on set with a lot of people
Yeah.
versus being in the booth for your animation?
I know the difference is indescribable. There are pros and cons to both. The booth is great because you can be unshowered, unshaven. There's no makeup and hair people fussing over you. There's nobody telling you what to wear, and the time commitment is pretty quick. I have to say though, it's almost equally exhausting. I mean, I think Dazzle, it has such energy about him, and it's. He's such a big part of the show that I come home from days of recording, and I'm equally as tired, maybe more so, because I'm working different muscles. I mean, I've been in front of a camera my whole life. That I got. So the other stuff, is more of a learning curve.
Yeah, and we definitely run through the ringer. Where there's episodes where I mean, kind of the base that you're starting at in animation is like you got to be pretty loud and pretty energetic. That's the base. Then you got to shout over a crowd because you're a DJ at a rave, and then you gotta run and jump and do action and have sex, and also you've had to sing. And the singing has been so fun.
I have had to sing. It's been fun. We have some really fun. He wrote a great song for me. One of the great idiot songs anybody has. I mean, it's almost Patrick Swayze, She's Like the Wind.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
it's kind of,
Are you talking about Wed the Sprite or the?
I'm thinking about Cop
This Town. Yeah. Oh, it's very much in the zone of
Or Don
Johnson's music. Yeah.
I don't know if it's up there with David Duchovny's new album, but it could be. Oh yes.
Got some research to do after.
Yes. So
it's sort of it's an insane rockabilly song. That was so much fun to record and to do a couple takes of it and then say, okay, one more and do it way worse, the worst you
and
could
that's
possibly.
the one we use.
No, of course, could it not be?
Well, now that you've dipped your toe into animation, do you see yourself directing it or writing for it, or?
The amount of work they do is unbelievable. It's almost impossible to create and run a show. The people who do that and do it well are my heroes. Very few people can do it. Of the people who do it, of which there are very few. And then to do it in animation, I don't know how they do it because you've been working on this how many years? Not since when you developed it, but I mean from the time you and I met.
Oh yeah.
It's been 2 years.
That's been over 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, and that's just the literal production of all of these episodes. And it's very tedious, and there's a point in the process where you are all 10 episodes are going at once, so you have to be thinking about the final animation versus the storyboards versus recording Rob and the other actors and getting the best performances out of them, and so. Yeah, you gotta wear a lot of hats and you gotta be really patient, and it really helps when you're so passionate about the show you're doing. There's no project I'd rather be working on than this thing, and so it's hey, bring more years into it. That's fine.
But it's all in their heads in a way. I can read a script, and I've done so much live action again. It's really all of it is second nature. There's no mystery left in it, which is unfortunately not a great thing, right? This is all mystery. So when I'm reading a scene where Dazzle gets in a speedboat and then jumps in a dolphin submarine that looks like a dolphin, and I don't know what the hell it's going to look like, what I'm even doing, and I've got to just trust the guys, which I do, and take that leap of faith. And that's stuff I had when I was a kid actor that I've worked my way through a couple of decades ago. So this keeps it new and fresh for me.
So it's a surprise when you see the episode.
And it always looked, I'm like, oh, sometimes I have to say, oh, that's even better than I thought. But a lot of it is, oh, so that's what he was talking about. There is some of that.
Puzzle is coming together.
Yes, there is.
I think you're going to be very happy with the design of the robotic dolphin penis. I don't
Oh,
think
yes!
they'll let that
As long as it's big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Nice and mighty.
But like in the episode we saw, I don't know if you saw it, like I had not somehow, I skimmed it, I wasn't really clear, maybe you didn't tell, but the level of, and speed of the massacre in the desert
Sure,
was
yeah.
so funny. I had no idea that would make me laugh out loud. So, massacres make me laugh. I'm that kind of a guy.
That's what's insane. It's one small part of the episode we just watched is this giant desert war that just unfolds in 10 seconds, and then like next scene you can just plow through insanity. I mean, then there's so much crazy action in this thing, so much crazy sex. There's like it's just full of ideas and stuff and exciting events. It's a jam-packed show in a great way.
And we saw it with a crowd for the first time, and it's always great when the crowd really likes it, and they did. But what I loved about it was they reacted to it in a way, in terms of what they immediately understood, the jokes they got, their level of enthusiasm from the get-go. It seemed like a show that they'd already, that this was the season premiere of the second season. Like they were already down. They got it, they knew it. It wasn't like that quiet for a while, and then some laughs, and then the switch flips, and then they're in. There was none of it. They were just in, and that was really cool.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to say. And we sort of had the goal going into it to just kind of, like you said, just kind of go straight to the second season. It's the characters are not that complicated to understand. The world's not that complicated to understand. So let's go straight to just like really dense, crazy plots that require a lot of range from everybody involved, and that are super surprising and fun. And I think we got to do it. And I do think the audience will like this thing right away.
And I love being after South Park. It's the coolest thing to say. Like my kids, and to South Park's undying credit, they accomplished the single hardest things to do simultaneously. They're always funny, but they're also always relevant. And they've been doing it for 19 years. And so to be able to tell my kids who've been watching that show and thinking it's cool and cutting edge and dirty and fun and all the things you want from a show like that, since they were 10 years old, they're now in their 20s. To say Dad show's on after South Park, that's a good day for me in the house.
Really cool. They're my heroes, certainly, Trey and Matt. So yeah, I can't believe it. Moonbeam City after South Park, nuts.
Right?
So,
Nuts.
So excited.
Nuts.
Can't wait. September 16th. Can't wait for September 16th.
So exciting.
Prepare to be dazzled. Push that phrase. I think that's the phrase. You gotta say.
Is it?
Throw that phrase in. I'm pushing that as the tagline.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thanks.